adventuring in the lands of Toivoa. Most recently, you are here in the city of Nausea, where you have come to recover after a trip in Australia where you went to rescue your friend Bloodsword, who has since moved on from the realm of the living into Imkael's cold arms. Now you are back here looking for a way to stop the interplanar invasion of the Fae, as portals have opened up from one side to the next, and you're looking for a way to stop it. We ended last session with Ayla Taylor learning how to make a wonderful Italian dish. As
yes,
you guys
I learned to make a wonderful Italian dish.
got one job on this show.
And she got the first one of the day.
Indeed. So that's where we pick up, as it is 5 p.m. on a Thursday. What would you guys like to do, as currently everyone else is at the Longstriders Consortium, about ready to leave, and Ayla is cooking dinner over at Giancarlo's restaurant.
I need to talk to Leslie when it is convenient.
You want to talk to her about absence?
Among other things.
What about shards that we can go get?
Working on that too.
What about our next destination?
Do you have a pet yet?
It's too soon. George the Third is amazing.
It's tasty.
All right, so
Why don't you come over to Juan Carlos, and have some pasta? It's made with love.
That you're supposed to use pasta to make pasta.
No, you use flour and eggs.
That makes it an impasta.
But you have to make it with love.
She looks at Twilight and just smacks him across the back of the head.
We have garlic bread, we have meatballs, we have sauce. Breadsticks.
Okay.
It's amazing.
What are they? Spicy meatballs.
Spicy meatballs.
Sounds Russian.
Showing my age, too.
I don't even know what to do with that. That's great.
See, Ayla, your meatballs are so spicy they leave the covetous speechless.
He
But
smacks
see-
him across the back of the head again.
That's good. Y'all come eat dinner. And Covet can have her discussion with Leslie while we're over there, and I'll save you some, Covet.
Oh no, she'll get her meatballs and pasta later.
I'll be there in a bit, Ayla, to get the delicious meal that you have made as soon as I'm done the business with Leslie.
Got it.
So, Twilight, would you leave the consortium to go over to Giancarlo's?
Yes.
Okay. As you leave the consortium to head in that direction, there is someone sitting outside of the consortium, just standing there, about 2 feet tall, wearing a green cloak. As you walk up, they look up at you admiringly. They seem to be wanting an autograph. Would you autograph their cloak?
Can I help you?
Yeah, excuse me, yes. And just looks at you and holds the cloak up and prepares to go into the consortium without an autograph. Are you going to let them go without an autograph?
I'm assuming you've heard of the Legends of Twilight.
Of course.
adoring fans, I knew this day would come. Of course, here, you may have an autograph on your cloak.
And as you autograph the cloak, they start coming after you like a fangirl. You try to get away, and they keep coming. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. Pardon me, what are you doing?
Oh, one at a time, single file. Yes, yes, of course.
As they try to come up, you're going to clean it, right? You're going to clean my cloak?
No, I am going to sign the cloak. But if you wanted it clean here, I cast prestidigitation.
Do you clean off your autograph, or do you clean the rest of the cloak and leave the autograph?
Twilight wouldn't have been paying attention because he was distracted. I am sure that the autograph would have come off with the casting of the prestidigitation.
Okay. Then we allow the cloak to be clean, as we now have covered what happened last night. And that's 100% valid. So, as you head over to Giancarlo's, you can find Ayla there with a massive bowl of pasta with many spicy meatballs and a large bread of garlic. Garlic bread. Wow. Eric's brain this morning.
Bread
Sorry,
of
guys.
garlic. Oh, there you
Bread
go.
I like
of
bread.
garlic.
I like that.
Bread of
Sounds so
garlic.
formal.
Twilight enters like he is the absolute rock star in the clouds and a complete pompous ass.
Bread
So normal-
of garlic.
I have arrived!
It's a
Wrong
Italian
character.
rock band.
Bread of garlic is in the bag of holding now.
All right, so what really happened was Eric's brain switched into Cuban and translated into English, and because Spanish, it's literally translated directly. It's bread of garlic. So as we go
It
ahead,
sounded formal.
yes,
Yes, it does.
Tiki, would you be going with our friend Twilight?
Yeah. I'm gonna go for dinner. Sounds good to
Okay.
me.
It's Lauren.
Gonna be staying behind and just working on the jewels that I was working on earlier.
Okay, cool. And Eowyn will go off to the Blue Cloaks to talk. Meanwhile, the camera pans into the Longstriders Consortium. As the camera pans in there, we find Covet Von Sin ascending the stairs, I assume?
Yes, with a slight sachet that she always does.
Awesome. Coming down the hall from the rooms ahead, you see a very tall Goliath woman dressed in laced up pants and a red top.
I see a very tall Goliath woman with laced up pants and a red top.
She looks at you and smiles as she goes past. She very obviously does not hide the fact that she checks you out.
She in turn, does Covet actually see this?
Oh yeah, the stealth check for this is in the negative.
Okay, so it's like blatant. Okay.
Yes.
So she continues to walk towards Leslie's door, turns swishes her hair behind her shoulder, and just keeps going, giving a slight glance back, and just
Okay.
keeps going.
I'm going to go ahead and show you an image of the person we're talking about because that's fun to do. So the image of the person we're talking about is this.
Ooh, is she hot?
So she will go down the stairs, and she does her best to sashay, but it's not really all that great. It's more of just athlete trying to show off. As you make your way down to Leslie's door, the door is currently open. Would you like to go in?
Before I do, I knock first.
Come in, Covet.
And Kevin walks in the door.
Been quite some time. Welcome. Take a seat.
She walks over to the chairs that are in front of her desk, which are usually there, correct? And
Yes.
she
Yes.
takes a seat in one of them. Crossing her legs at the knee and sitting back a little bit, just ready to give the report.
How have you been?
Busy. Hopefully you've seen Tay Eagle Splitter. He said he was going to come speak with you.
Indeed, he left just before my last appointment.
Oh?
She smiles. I appear to have become popular in the past couple of days.
Covet raises an eyebrow and looks at her dead in the eye and is like, is this a good thing?
For now. Yes.
Good.
Hmm.
I would hate for it to be a bad thing because that's when bad things happen, right?
That's one interpretation. Another is that when I'm busy, bad things are already happening.
That is true. So, but he did come see you. Did he speak of our meeting?
No. He was quite private.
Just more of stating that he should come talk to you.
He is an interesting fellow. At some point, I'm sure that he'll be very useful.
He could be. He's very astute and can, I think that he could be useful in many ways. But in the more immediate future, did he say that he wanted to become a student?
No, he turned us down. He'll still be an associate, of course, and useful in his own ways. But as far as joining the family, I think he's a little bit far gone.
How unfortunate.
Indeed. It would have been nice to have such a strapping, swarthy man in our service.
Well, you can't force those.
No,
But
we could,
he did give
but that's no fun.
no. So he did give me some very interesting information.
Oh, what information did he provide you?
Well, it's about the glow. It's about the portal. And Nebula Angelson is opening the portals. He
That's an
says.
interesting name.
I don't know much about her.
Me neither.
I know that she works for the Gloam Court, That's part of the Fey plane, and she's opening them by herself at will.
That's concerning. How can we stop such traffic?
Obviously, we need to close the portals.
I have tasked the Feywatch with such tasks. We need to have you and your lovely husband, along with your friends, determine what is causing the portals. We'll allow the Feywatch to handle the closing of the portals that have already happened. But you are being tasked with finding the source of them.
So you mean you want us to find Nebula?
I would like you to find what she is doing and stop it. Yes.
Is this part of this the staff? The Baneful Ashwood staff?
From what I understand and what you've told me before, yes. My research indicates that the staff, once unified, will allow the cessation of any further portals. Of course, that's my understanding, and I could be incorrect.
So, have you found any information on the location of the next staff at all? The next shard piece.
I have.
Okay.
The next shard that I've been able to find belongs with a rival of mine who is recently weakened in power and I believe is in a position to lose the shard. The Lady of Shadows in Ochukvok has a shard of the baneful Ashwood staff. She's had it for apparently quite some time and is loath to lose it.
The Lady of Shadows. That's a fun title.
Indeed.
And GM, how do you spell the location? I'm sorry.
Ochukvok.
Because that is a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, you are correct. So it is OCHOK apostrophe VUK. Ochukvok.
Yeah, I was nowhere close to that.
Ochukvok is located in the center of Corlin and is the capital city. It is infested with orcs, goblins, trolls, all manners of monstrous creatures. You will need to have a disguise for you and for each of your allies, unless you believe you can intimidate and control the masses of barbarics that are there. Gaining audience with the Lady of Shadows will not be a small task, for she is reclusive and paranoid. From what I understand, the House of Flowers is currently impacting her power base in some way, and I'm not certain how. Discovering that might give you an in. Other ways that you could access her would be to perform a feat of great strength or value for her and her people. Find some way to impress her, and she will give you an audience. Assaulting the Shadow Spire is nearly impossible. It is guarded by dragons, orcs, mages, and no end to a number of traps within that only the Lady of Shadows knows how to bypass.
I'm sorry, did you say that that feats of strength are a way to impress her?
Potentially, as long as they are for her benefit. Brute strength is not what she finds interesting, but rather strength of mind and generally things that assist her goals. Should you find what those are, one of her shadows would be able to tell you more. You can find them quite easily because they do not have shadows. They are referred to by the populace as the shadowless.
Okay, so once we find favor with her, we look for the shadows to get more information. But we can tell who they are because they don't have shadows.
Correct.
Correct.
Because the Lady of Shadows takes their shadows. She collects them and uses them as guardians for the Shadow Spire. Freeing the baneful Ashwood shard from her will not be easy, as she believes that it is a form of power over the Fae, even though it has no intrinsic power. The power for blackmail and manipulation through its possession is what she leans upon.
Ugh, blackmail and power manipulation.
Indeed.
Is that something that is enhanced by the shard, or is that something that she uses to hold the shard?
View it as a mutually assured destruction. Should she fall, she will ensure that the shard falls, and the people who wish it will no longer have access to it. It is an ace in the hole, you might say. A way to prevent them from acting against her.
Okay. So right now the populace won't act against her because they believe it's controlling them or fear that it's their doom.
The populace of Ochokvok are enthralled with her. They worship her as a goddess. The populace of the Fey realms won't act against her because she has the shard and is afraid that she might destroy it. The Lady of Shadows is the ruler of all of Corlin. You are being sent to talk to a queen.
No pressure, right?
If you couldn't handle it, Covet, I wouldn't be entrusting you with this.
She goes through in her head, she goes through her history of all the etiquette and decorum that she could possibly need, especially as one who grew up noble in the court itself. But
With a passive insight, you know that Leslie has been grooming you for this.
I feel like I've been chosen specifically for this task.
You're not wrong.
So, let's not play games here.
Of course.
Of course. What's in it for you?
She smiles. Fair enough. Lady of Shadows and I are rivals. She holds sway over a variety of things that I really don't want her to have. And this shard is one. Removing
That
it
can
from
be-
her grasp will reduce her impact and sway across the realms, and lessen the threat against the consortium.
We both want to protect the consortium and those we care about.
Indeed. After all, that's
We
what
both-
matters.
That is true. The ones we love the most. So, once the queen falls, there will also be a power vacuum.
Oh, I don't want you to depose her. I don't even want her eliminated. Having her removed would lead to a power vacuum, and that would be catastrophic. No, I would like you to collect the baneful Ashwood Spire shard without damaging her. Better the evil we know than the evil we don't. The Lady of Shadows is practical and understands that an expansion project from Corlin at the moment is not prudent, and so she keeps her borders intact. Yes, she amasses forces, but she does not attempt to invade. She's happy where her country is at. She is powerful and has sway enough that she is able to achieve her goals as is. We want her in power, lest someone else take over. So this is not an assassination mission. This is an opportunity, Covet von Sin, for you to negotiate with royalty. After all, we both know you're excellent at negotiations.
Right. So she has her ace in the hole. What is ours? I can't
She
go in
leans
empty-handed.
Oh, she leans in. Our ace in the hole is Islarin Shonozath. Your compatriot is an important member of the Schnozen Protectorate and a very powerful woman in her own right. not necessarily through physical acts or magical prowess, but rather through who she knows and what she has access to in the form of favors and political pull. In the process of accessing the Lady of Shadows, you may want to talk to Islarin about her relationship with the Protectorate and reaffirming that connection. Being able to pull the political strings of the Protectorate would allow you to have even more sway over the Lady of Shadows. Having a powerful ally that controls the seas, that is something that would enhance your negotiations with the Lady of Shadows. So you may wish to go to the Protectorate first. Utilize Islarin Shonazat's connections there. Contact her family and see what you can do to leverage that political power towards gaining access to the shard.
I'm just gonna say she's really not gonna like that much.
Well, I understand
But-
that she may not like it. It's your job to ensure that she participates. After all, what we're trying to do is stabilize the world in order to protect the consortium and eventually return you and your lovely husband to the Fey Realms, where you can deal with the major threat that is the Shantara Grove.
Well, I guess we'll see what we can do. That
I'm
being
sure you
said,
can do a lot.
that being said, have you found anything out about Absinthe?
I have. Your little friend is tainted by the demon called Zokareth. Put that name in chat for you.
I remember him touching Absinthe.
He infused your small little friend with an aspect of himself. The Lady of Shadows would relish the opportunity to draw that essence forth and enslave it. Freeing your friend.
Question is, do we want that?
That is the key to allowing her to part with the shard. Do we want her to have the essence of Zokareth? No. But if you wish to free your friend Absinthe and collect the baneful Ashwood Spire shard, perhaps a slight sacrifice in this way would be beneficial to us in the end. We cannot have our cake and eat it too.
How would that affect your rivalry with her?
Currently, it would rebalance things. You see, right now, you have imbalanced the power rivalry between me and her. You, Covet, are such a powerful sway that she seeks something like Zuckareth to even the odds.
So she knows that I am your student then.
She is aware.
Oh, so we're basically wanting to offer her an the protectorate as an ally. And the
no. We don't want them as an ally for her. More of a hammer to bring her to the table to negotiate. Without going in a political power play, she has no reason to speak with you. Having the protectorate as your backing will give you a political foothold. You understand the consortium is not a political entity. We do not rule any countries. We're an adventurers guild. We worry about our own, and we have chapters in many countries. Gaining the power of the protectorate behind you will allow you political standing to talk to her on even footing.
How much of this am I allowed to tell us, Lauren? Because she's going to ask. We both know this.
You're free to discuss with your friend whatever you would like. I'm taking the kid gloves off, Covet. You can take charge, reveal to those what you would like, and the goals are the end at the moment. Whatever it takes, I authorize you to do. Use those who you wish to use. Neglect those you wish to neglect. As long as you further the goals of the consortium and your own personal goals in relation to the Fey realms and your husband, you are free to do as you wish.
I appreciate your trust in me, but it's also scary.
Freedom is scary. And she reaches across the table for your hand.
Covet takes a deep breath. And she extends her hand.
As your fingers touch, she holds your fingers. If you love something, you let it go. I trust you, Covet. And thus I give you the freedom to use your power as you will. Use the knowledge I've given you, and that which I will give you, to further our goals. She lets go with a smile. Now, we have one other thing to discuss.
Okay.
Our
What is that?
friend Eagle Splitter has a fascination with skulls and heads. It's most interesting how he brings them in. We have the opportunity to question such entities for our own gain. Are you interested in learning what Tay Eagle Splitter has brought to us in the form of information?
She smiles and she says, "You know, I'm always one that wants the research. So, yes, what does he have to give us?"
She opens her mouth wide and reaches inside, and like a magic trick, she pulls a pixie's head out of her mouth and puts it on the desk.
Well, that's an interesting trick.
The latest gift from our friend.
Is that what you do with all of them?
Oh, no. No. It was a demonstration to keep things safe from prying eyes. But what would you ask an infiltrator pixie? I give you 3 questions, as I must retain 2 for myself.
Well, that's hard.
Know that the Pixie has been researching the Longstriders Consortium for quite some time. According to Eagle Splitter, they interrogated the Pixie and retrieved much information. It is our turn to retrieve information about the members of the Consortium and the members of the Blue Cloaks and other people within Nausea. The Pixie is freshly dead and will speak the truth. What would you like to know about anyone in the Nausea area? Would you like to talk to your friends out of character and ask them?
Out of character? Yes.
Okay.
That is a lot. Oh my gosh.
3 questions about anyone in the Nausea area.
You could ask about Jimmy's whereabouts.
Back to all the information that was given. We could figure out who is part of the House of Flowers. But I mean, it's got to be character specific, right? GM?
I'm leaving it up to you guys. I'm not going to answer that question until you ask the question from the Pixie.
No, it was how you phrased it before. Does it have to be character specific?
No, it doesn't have to be character specific. You get to ask the Pixie 3 questions.
Okay.
I'm open to you guys asking questions. This is an opportunity for you guys to gain 3 bits of lore about the Nausea area, people involved, organizations involved, etc., from a Pixie's perspective.
Okay, guys. What do you think here? Because this is a lot, and it is very overwhelming with what we could do. And I have a couple of ideas, but I feel like I'm throwing darts in the dark.
So how are you communicating with the rest of the party?
No, this is out of character. Just kidding. This is information that Covet would naturally ask, but it's information that the player doesn't actually ask. So this is stuff that Covet would want to know, but the player is asking for assistance on this.
So does that mean that you're looking for potential emissaries and or agents of either the Gloom Court, the House of Flowers, or the Lady of Shadows? You're operating in Nausea?
I mean, that could be a possibility, seriously. I mean, who the emissaries are could be huge. Is Lauren getting more of her background, I could ask her, but I don't know how much she would be forthcoming.
Water doesn't do well on pixie wounds.
No. But and I fully want to respect his Lauren by asking her personally, that sort of thing. Because she is a friend. That being said, I would definitely want to know more probably about the House of Flowers and the emissaries for sure.
What about Mr. Vern for Aelin?
For the record, I love the fact you guys are including Eowyn even though they're not here today. So,
yeah.
I love the consideration there.
Yes.
I'm just throwing it out there. That's just
No,
one wild card.
I love the fact
that
that you guys are including everybody in a team. I that's awesome. Keep that up.
I mean, for Eowyn, I know that Eowyn knows that. We all know that Eowyn knows that that Mr. Verm is part of the House of Flowers. He liked me. He liked these.
Part of
Or head of the House of Flowers. All I know is that he was with the House of Flowers. But it's how and these are questions I would ask the player, not the character, the player. Would this actually benefit us finding that information? Or should we stick with protectorate questions? Or should we stick with figuring out where more infiltrators are, or how to get through to, like, what's the best way to get to, the Lady of Shadows? That sort of thing. Or Shantar.
Why are they researching the consortium so heavily? We're just adventurers. We have no political pull. What are they expecting?
That's a great question.
That's true.
Yeah. What were they looking for?
I mean, because she told us that they had been researching the consortiums for some period of time. Well, if we're just adventurers, why? Or have we caused that much trouble for them? And I hope that's the answer. But nonetheless, still, what do they want with the consortium?
How does it relate to Chantara Grove?
Because, the pixie is Fae. From the Fae realm. Just real quick, as I back in character just a little bit, and as she's considering the questions, she looks at the Fae head. What does the pixie's head? What does the pixie look like? Does she recognize that pixie?
Let me pull that up here. One moment. I will get it. You wouldn't recognize the specific pixie, but let me get the character art for this real quick. One moment. Give me a moment. I didn't think we were going to go there. One sec. It's going to take me just a moment to get that.
You're welcome.
Nope. Perfectly fine. I just forgot. There it is.
How thorough and annoying I can be.
Trying to find it. Here we go. Almost there. This is what the pixie looks like. There you go.
Does that ring a bell in her head? Is like what?
Ooh, roll a history check.
$21.
With a 21, the Aridni, and I will put that in chat. The Aridni Pixies are from the Shintara Grove. They are assassins and infiltrators. They are great bone people and snipers. They tend to be on the fringes of the Shintara Grove as the creatures closer to the center consume them. They are very devious and tricksy. They like to become invisible and can alter the terrain to be nearly impassable, causing pain upon those who try to chase them. They like to use dancing lights to distract and taunt, and they have the ability to detect magic, causing their arrows to fly true towards the more powerful creatures that they face. One of these, even though they are weak physically, can take out entire parties of people without ever being seen.
And he brought this to, and this is not a question. This is not a question. This is in her head. This is in her head.
Sure.
He brought this to her. Wow. That's impressive. Wow. Again, this is in her head, not saying it out loud.
I wonder if that was a childhood friend of Twilight.
No, this would not be a childhood friend of Twilight's. This would be something that drove Twilight from his home.
Ah.
As there were many of these.
So, current resident, not legacy resident.
Correct. Squatter?
General ass. Okay.
Indeed.
Oh.
If you missed last Saturday night's session, definitely ass. For the record, if you didn't watch the Feywatch last Saturday night, this person pissed off every single one of the characters.
Okay. All right. So,
in fact,
out of character.
I'm going to go ahead and send you this because you got a 21, so of it. That's the entire sheet. I'm not sure you can see it, but if not, I will get it made so you can.
I can see it.
There you go. Enjoy. Did they bring enough for all of us?
Vegan. I'm so excited. Well, vegan ass. The crust is plus pepperoni. Mozzarella cheese. Okay, never mind. It's not completely vegan. It's almost vegan. I'm so excited. My bestie.
It's both.
It's pho. F-E-A-U-X. Pho. Okay. So out of character. Okay. This thing is like no joke, guys.
Wow. Still alone and unafraid with Leslie.
I know, and this is again out of character. This is me allowed to talk.
Okay. Faye together.
No, yeah, maybe, possibly. Okay, so the two questions that I have so far are: what do they want with a consortium in general? Like, what's the okay, here, how about this? What is the purpose of gathering information on the consortium?
That's good.
Okay, so that's question number one. Question number two would be, How does this affect Shantara Grove? What is the current status of Shantara Grove?
Or
I don't like that one. Who's in control of Shantara Grove right now? I think that's a good question to ask.
Yeah, because at least she has a possibility of knowing that information, so that's probably a good one to ask.
And okay, so that's number 2. And number 3, we've got one more question we can ask. Should we hold it until we know what those first 2 questions are so we can expand on it? Because that seems to have been our general MO and it has worked out well.
That's a good call.
Yeah. Agree.
All right. So just to confirm before we get back into character, the first question is, what is the purpose of gathering information on the consortium? And number 2, who is in control of Shantara Grove? All who agree, press 1. All who oppose, press 2. Well, GM, you don't count in this point.
I don't count. Okay.
GM abstains. Okay. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and go back into character then.
Okay.
So Pavet takes a deep breath and squints her eyes because she recognizes the kind of pixie this is. And she is not happy. And she knows that she has to take these questions very seriously and be very careful with what she says. She looks at Leslie and nods, and then looks back at the head. And she says, what is the purpose of gathering information on the consortium?
The head turns, the eyes burst open, and the white orbs glow. The mouth begins to work itself. The purpose is to go ahead and kill all of you. The consortium is a threat, and you're going to be put out. All of us are going to kill you. We're going to come through. You're going to find us through the shadows, through the lights. It's all going to end for you. You're all going to die. We're going to stop the threats that you pose to us. You and all of your little pesky people. All of you are going to die. And I don't care about anything you say. No deal can stop us. We're going to get you. We are, and nothing can stop us.
She raises an eyebrow and just goes, uh-huh. And she looks back at Leslie and kind of takes a deep breath and doesn't ask the next question to the head. Who is in control of Shantara Grove?
Queen Thalia Neverwhirl. She rules the Shantara Grove. She controls the shadows. She is who we will take your lifeless bodies to and tear them apart in service of her. Your shadows will add to hers, and we will spread Shantara's power throughout the Fey realms. Nothing can stop us. Not you, not the useless people in the consortium, and certainly not those damn Feywatch.
out of character. Back to the person who is playing. For the record, guys. We could have slit her throat then. Okay. Oh. Then it would have been a very short campaign. But that being said,
At least
You guys asked the right questions.
at least Twilight shot her. Yes. Oh.
as GM runs away.
GM is sitting there happy dancing, going ha 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 ha.
I'm glad you guys have figured it out. Now it's like, okay, well, now the dots are connecting.
He has one job to do on this ship.
Frustrate the players.
Well, it's
Okay.
a good thing we didn't take her deal then.
No.
I'm just waiting for that door to open for someone to come in and be like, what is going on in here?
It's been happening this whole conversation. Every time I go to ask a question, this is what
What was the
happens.
third question?
Oh gosh. Okay, so that being said, you know, guys, we've got one more question.
Oh,
Oh, that's a good question. What is the relationship between Thalia and Nebula?
Oh, interesting. That is a good question.
Yeah, that's good.
The pixie blinks.
That's not in character. This
Okay,
is still
that's
out of
not in
character.
Okay.
Nice try.
Okay.
We are still discussing this out of character.
you're welcome.
So, what do you think about that, guys? Do you think that's a good question?
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to take a vote. If you agree, press 1. Yes, and last names.
In case, in
So-
case there's more than one nebula.
Nebula Angelson and Thalia Never Whirl. Okay. Okay, cool.
They're probably sisters.
Maybe.
Daughter?
Cousins.
Really close
Former
friends.
roommates.
Roommates. Twice
Friends
removed.
with benefits.
What does that make us? Absolutely nothing.
The thwarts.
Okay, out of character, to the character that plays is Laura, and make sure you're taking pretty good notes because I'm writing as fast as I can. But oh my gosh,
If only these
I have
recordings
taken-
were available on Twitch and YouTube.
they
Right,
are. I know,
I'll-
but
I'll let you know that I have taken 0 notes on this conversation because I'm going to be relying on what Covet chooses to relay and not to relay because I think that is going to matter.
You guys are taking notes?
hush you.
Yes.
Someone cue the
You
meme.
better be glad some of us do.
Okay, so to players out of character, we agree that the question is, what is the relationship between Thalia and Nebula?
But make sure you use the full names. Because names have meanings in the Fae.
Oh, they do. So Nebula, Angel,
Angelson.
Sin. Am I pronouncing that correctly, GM?
Yes.
Because you said it quickly the first time, and I want to make sure I have it correct.
Angelson.
Angel Sin
What I said.
and Thalia Never Whirl. Okay. Okay, so I know, do it. All right, so back into character. Covet looks back at the at the pixie. Rage is emanating. You can just you could just it's flowing off of her like an her aura is just you can feel it as soon as you come into the room. It is
Your
palpable.
perception check before you ask the question. The room has started going dark. You've seen this happen when Leslie started interrogating things. It's now happening when you're interrogating things.
She kind of notices, but she's too angry at this point to really care all that much. It's something that she'll think on later. And she takes a deep breath, a calming one, so she can say the words properly. As she looks at the pixie, she says, "What is the relationship between Thalia Neverwhirl and Nebula Angelson?"
The pixie goes, "They're stepsisters. They work together. They are absolutely going to own you. They're going to own you, your souls. They're going to own your shadows. They're going to spread everything all over all the planes. They're going to rule. They're going to rule it all. And we're going to be more powerful than you can possibly imagine. Oh, it's going to be glorious when you're submitting to their will. Neverwhirl rules the Shintara Grove. The shadows are hers. And Angel Sin rules the light. Both combined will rule everything."
She has so many more questions she wants to ask. But out of respect for Leslie, she just sits back, crosses her arms over her chest, and gives a air of nonchalance.
Leslie looks up at you and smiles. Turning the pixie's head to her, she holds it aloft. "How did you get here?" The pixie responds, "We came through the shadows. The Shintara Grove leaks in the alleys of Nausha. That's how we got here. That's how we plan to escape. That's how we get reinforcements. There are portals in the plains. We can come through them. The Shintara Grove leaks into the material plane, and our friends are coming with us." She raises an eyebrow at Covet. "Is that interesting for you?"
Quite.
"Last question, little pixie. How do we get to the Shintara Grove?" The pixie's eyes open wide. "You die! You die in darkness, and the Shintara Grove claims you and pulls you under. You become one with the shadows. Only the shadows can allow you into Shintara Grove. No one who does not control the shadows can come in. No one can come in." And the pixie's eyes roll up into its head, and Leslie offers you the pixie's head, Covet, as a snack.
She hates this so much because it is fellow Fae, but at the same time, of the angst and the heartache that one of these who serves one of those two bitches, she will gladly take the pixie as a snack.
Awesome. So as you take the pixie as a snack, it pops into your mouth and the cold smoke of the pixie flows down your throat and infuses your being. You gain +1 to your stealth skill permanently.
Thank you.
Leslie smiles as the room begins to clear up as your anger is somewhat subsiding a little bit. Well, that was informative. I wonder if the Lady of Shadows has access to the Shintara Grove. That might be a second thing to ask her. It seems like your path is fairly clear. I need you to go to the Shinozo Protectorate, gain political power from them, and then head to Ochukvuk to talk to the Lady of Shadows using the political power, gain the Baneful Ashwood Spire Shard, and then head into the Shintara Grove or into the Fey Realms and stop this Neverworld. Simple enough. Somehow, I don't think so.
You said that was the second question. What was the first?
What are we referencing? I'm sorry.
Asked the Lady of Shadows if she has access to Shantara Grove. What was the first question you wanted me to ask her?
How we can get the Baneful Ashwood Spire Shard.
Okay, that was just clarification that I'm understood.
So, do you have any more questions for me, Covet? After all, I'm trying to give you all the information you need in order to ensure the success of your friends.
So I do have one more question, and I don't know if you know the answer. And she looks at her dead in the eye. She's not even, she knows it's a bold question. How can Twilight reclaim the throne of, regain control of Shantara Grove?
I'm not certain. I'm sure this Neverworld person is the key. Is Twilight's Call noble?
I know that it is his inheritance.
Interesting. Then he may prove more useful in the future. You've chosen your husband well.
I love him for more than just an inheritance.
Oh, of course. I'm sure that he provides you with the emotional support that you need, provides you with the physical comforts that come with a marriage. And those are in addition to the political pullings that I'm sure you are quite aware of.
Agreed. So, I'm going to ask one more question. And again, it is bold. What's in it for me?
You want your husband to be happy.
I always do.
You want the power, and you want the political influence in the Fey courts yourself. There's an item out there, Covet. I have the Fey Watch working on it, called the Triadem. Should they manage to collect it, it would be most beneficial for it to be in your possession. After all, someone has to rule the 3 Fey courts. Why not you?
That's a lot of responsibility. That's interesting. In her head, she's like, I don't want that kind of power. That's terrifying. But if it helps...
American inserts a little 3-letter word there. Yet.
But in her head, she says, but I will definitely help put the right person on the throne.
Okay. Leslie doesn't hear that.
No, she doesn't. She says, understood.
Now use that lovely dagger that you've gotten, and let's see what we can do to further the goals towards the Schnozen Protectorate.
Understood.
You're a very good partner, Covet.
I've been elevated from student.
Of course. I can't give you freedom if you're just a student. We need to work together towards the goal, and this is far greater than anything that I can do by myself. You may continue to be my student, but at the same time, we're in this together. And if I can be of assistance, you know how to reach me.
Out of character, the player goes, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
Back in character.
One for all.
Back in character.
Musketeers.
Covet looks at Leslie and says, of course. I appreciate, again, your trust in me.
By the way, your other friends, Shakik al-Nazir, the monk, there's more to him than is being led on. Keep an eye on him, for I'm sure he's got very specific goals in mind for you and for Twilight. And Ayla Taylor may provide us with some political influence from other parts of the world. You might want to explore her past as well. Should the Protectorate fall through, she would be an excellent second choice.
From an itty-bitty island and the turkey-leg people?
She smiles. You'd be surprised Those who control food and religious studies tend to have a sway over others that you wouldn't expect.
That is fair.
Don't short sell Miss Taylor. She has connections that you're unaware of.
Interesting. The question is, no offense to her, but is she aware of them?
She probably discounts them as being everyday and a matter of course. Realize you don't know much about Ayla Taylor. At
No,
least
I
not that
don't.
you've told me. You might want to explore who she is connected to, because there's a lot there.
Okay. What? Anything else? In regards
I think
to...
that's enough for now.
Real quick, though, what is going on with Eowyn?
Eowyn is proving to be quite useful. From what I have heard from little birds, Eowyn is doing well in the standing with the Blue Cloaks and is attempting to form a replacement for the leadership. Eowyn's ambitions are high. Let's hope that they don't get too high. Eowyn is a powerful cleric, and one that should be watched and managed, lest they overstep their bounds. The Blue Cloaks are a useful organization when brought to bear, but they must be handled carefully, especially with the new addition of the Guardian of Portals.
Who's the Guardian of Portals?
An individual by the name of Amor Shestina brought a demi-lich into the fold of the Blue Cloaks. They call it Shadrach. Shadrach.
That was a Draco Lich?
Demi-lich.
Demi-Lich, okay.
Shadrach now guards the portal to Nausea. The magic circle by which teleportation is active is now controlled by a demi-lich in the employ of the Blue Cloaks.
Interesting. That could be volatile if not handled correctly. Are you confident in this, Amor?
I am confident in the fact that he is an agent of chaos. I am confident that he can be directed towards a certain area and released like an explosion into a specific zone. Do I trust the Demi-Lich? As of now, I trust it to do what it does. Guard the portal. Do I trust Ronaldus Basil? Yes. I trust Ronaldus Basil to be an ass and a protector of Nausea. Do I trust Eowyn? Yes. I trust Eowyn to remain true to themselves, to their hunger for power, and to their ambition.
Well, do you want Eowyn to be head of the Blue Cloaks, or do you want Basil?
Ronaldus Basil is a very fine figurehead. I would not mind if Eowyn controlled the Blue Cloaks from behind the scenes. That would be most beneficial to our ends, wouldn't it? Controlling the Blue Cloaks from the shadows seems very much like our type of thing.
If you're thinking of taking Eowyn on as a student, that's not going to happen.
Oh no, they would never agree. And they are too volatile and power hungry. No, Eowyn would be better served as an ally of ours. A friend who we can ask for favors. I don't think that that's too much to ask, do you?
No, not at all. Basically be the neck of the operation.
Indeed. Support the head, direct it to where it should look, control it. And with our hands on the neck, we can handle that.
It's all such a delicate balance.
Indeed.
How do you keep from going mad?
Who says I do?
She raises an eyebrow and glances around the room. First off, what does she see?
You look around the room, you can see the various decorations on the walls. No, you haven't ever really looked around her office before. On the walls, there are various paintings, landscapes, and generally pretty ominous and gothic pieces of art. Various swords and shields, a couple of scraps of cloth, a mask dripping with black ooze that never touches the floor. As it falls off the mask, it dissolves in midair. The eye holes call to you, Covet. It wants to be worn.
Uh-oh.
You look around. Behind her, there are a couple of skulls on the wall. Their surface covered in runes. On the left wall, a bureau with drawers that no doubt contain ritual components. Her office is nice, and the feng shui is strong. Everything is proportioned and placed in a place of purpose and function. Her tastes are very dark, but at the same time, you suspect that everything in this room has meaning for Leslie.
When she sees the runes on the skull, she is not going to... I mean, just because of her background and everything, she's not going to get up and look or anything, but quickly, and I'm looking for it just to make sure that I am correct in this. That one. She has the ability to read all languages, all written languages.
Okay.
And she would like to try to get a quick glance, but not overt in it.
Sure. A couple of the words that you read on one of the skulls are rebirth, sacrifice of the soul, and necromancy. On the other skull, you see the words Cullen. You know, put that in here. You will see the word devil spawn. And you will see the word Tiamat.
Interesting. Very interesting. And those are the only two skulls that she could see?
Yes.
Okay. She looks back at Leslie and says, when would it be best to come back and get the iron flask with absinthe?
Do you want it now? I would have it on your person before you leave to go to Ochakvok. If that's after you go to the Protectorate, so be it. If it's after you go far south, it's here and safe. And she pats the desk.
Do we have means of transportation to either one of those locations?
There are several new ships in the harbor.
I'm assuming they are ships that belong to Masaba.
They, at one point, belonged to the Church of Imkael. My attorney can be contacted for a deed. He's currently at the docks making deals with the various people who are claiming ships. You'll find him easily.
And what's his name?
Ace Bernstein, arcane attorney at law. What? What, you expected some other kind of name?
I love that character. I forget who it was that came up with it, but I love that character so much.
He was awesome. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Ace Bernstein was created by the guy who had played a couple other characters. And yes, I am seeing the notes at Discord.
Yeah, I figured you were.
Well, I guess I'll go ahead and take that iron flask. Is there any way to make sure it stays sealed until I'm ready to open it?
Yes. We can go ahead and do that. That's easy enough. And she's going to cast Arcane Lock on the flask. Now, we need to be very cautious about this, and we need to ensure that the flask does not open by accident. So we must include a password on this. So I'd like you to use the password of Venger.
Okay. I have the password. So I would say this password when I'm ready to open it then.
Correct. When you speak that word, that name, you'll have the flask open.
Does that name ring any bells for her in any history or anything like that?
Oh, hot damn. Okay. Roll a history check.
I'm not a character. You know this.
I know. Okay. We can do this. Let me see what I have. I don't have the thing I want. Venger was a great sorcerer from long ago who ruled all of Toivoa for an eon before the Great War between the Sky Islands and the Ground Dwellers. Venger ruled for easily 1,000 years. He sacrificed his goodness in exchange for power. Venger became a devil spawn. He descended into the Nine Hells after his death and is rumored to be attempting to come back. It's a very old story and very unreliable at this point. After all, it's been at least 3,000 years since that happened. What are the chances it could happen anytime soon? The reference to Venger, though, does remind you that Venger had one horn coming out of the top left side of his head. Just like the skull on the wall behind Leslie.
Oh, interesting.
I'm going to try to get a piece of art for you guys here, because this may matter. Where is a good piece of art of Venger? This is okay.
Covet's going to need to roll performance of how she recants or retells all of this to the party once she links back up with them.
Right, it's going to be really cool. So this is a piece of art that I'm going to toss this in Discord for you guys, because I can't link it into 20, but here you go. This is a piece of art of Venger.
Well, doesn't he look ominous?
Yeah.
So one horn, two-eyed, flying, red, purple eater?
Something like that.
Does Covet recognize that armor?
The armor he's wearing? No, you would not recognize the armor.
Okay.
Actually, I'm sorry. There's a chance. Please roll a history check for the armor. No,
I know
you
nothing.
do not recognize the armor. This is a very esoteric suit of armor that comes from somewhere else.
Okay. So Avenger, huh? It's an interest that without it. So the password, huh? That's a very interesting choice of password.
Indeed. She smiles. It's not a name that will be likely spoken by anyone anytime soon. So you're free to use it as a password. It will not accidentally be spoken.
Well, I have just been filled with a rather large amount of information. I need to, for lack of a better phrase, digest this for a little bit.
She smiles. Of course. Have a wonderful time, Covet. Stay safe. And I look forward to any more donations you decide to provide.
She goes and takes, looks down at her pen and is like, some might be coming your way soon.
Of course. Always a pleasure.
Of course. She gets up and she takes the iron flask.
Okay.
And puts it in her pack.
Okay.
Making sure that it stays nice and cushioned and stuff like that.
Sure.
And she's like, "We'll get you out soon, Absinthe."
All right.
And she looks at Leslie and says, "Stay safe." And
have a wonderful day.
Walks out the door.
All right. As you walk out the door, you look down the hall, and a different Goliath is currently coming up the stairs in a huff. This one is tall, and with his slate gray skin, he's having to hunch over in this hallway as he comes down the hall towards you. He fiddles with a door key and attempts to go into the room. He looks over at you and waves, and then goes inside the room.
She waves back before he closes the door because she recognizes him as well.
He raises an eyebrow, nods acknowledgement, and goes inside. All right. Cool. Where are we going? What are we doing?
I need pasta.
I do need to check in. Is everyone okay with how much time we spent on this? I know we did a lot of lore drops and went through.
Sorry, guys.
Twilight's completely oblivious, leading everybody in what may or may not be known as Italian wine drinking songs.
Italian wine drinking songs.
Sounds good
Awesome.
to me.
Cool. So I would like to ask, what do Italian wine drinking songs sound like, Twilight?
Oh no.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
So, it is established it is my job to frustrate you. So, Twilight, what do these songs sound like? 99
Roughly translated, it's drink it all, drink it all. He has drunk it all, and it didn't make him ill. Water makes you ill, wine makes you sing.
Guys, what did you do? Did you give him the Fae Fairy punch again?
He kept mumbling something about Bacchus.
That was his drinking buddy back in Shantara Grove. Really?
Eowyn's gonna speak up. Excuse me. This bread is really good.
Glad you like it, Eowyn.
Okay, that tracks. I'm just saying.
All right, so you walk up to Giancarlo's, and I do need to spell that for you guys because I think you guys have spelled it all sorts of different ways. There you go. Giancarlo's.
Yeah, I was not even close. I'm sorry.
You're fine. Ayla has created a large bowl of pasta, spicy meatballs, garlic bread, and the rest of the party has left some for you? Question mark?
How much is there?
Party, how much have you left for Covet?
It's unlimited pasta. Ayla keeps bringing it out. It's wonderful.
There's plenty more.
Ayla, what did they teach you? Did you learn this in, where you're from, or did you have a new teacher?
Giancarlo taught me how to make pasta and all this food. Love, and I have learned so much from him.
Including the accent. Wow.
He rubs off on you. What can I say?
Ew, phrasing.
Usually people get thrown in jail for that, but since you're a jailbird too, I guess it flocks together.
Hey, I've already been in jail once. No big deal.
Pass the wine.
Really? You guys alone for how long has it been, GM?
6.5 hours.
Has it really been 6.5 hours?
It's been an hour.
You can't. Guys, you let him into the Fey wine. Oh my gosh. That stuff goes right to his head.
If I was a rich man.
Oh,
Now,
God.
wait a minute. Wrong part.
All day long.
Stop it!
Wrong part of the world.
Oh my gosh.
Excuse me, what's that song from?
Fiddler on the Roof.
Before the Covet had left, she had left a note with Brad to let Lauren know where I had gone down to Giancarlo's.
What was the question?
I had left, and I had meant, I don't know if I can, but I had intended to say that I had left a note letting Islari know that we had gone to Giancarlo's.
Okay. Cool. So Islari,
We're getting snickered.
Giancarlo, Islaren, after you have gotten done with your jewel crafting, there will have been a note left with you that the group is over at Giancarlo's.
I will head to Giancarlo's and join the group.
Awesome. You can smell the warm, yeasty garlic bread before you approach. It makes your tummy rumble.
It's Lauren, my friend. I am so glad to see you. I have meatballs made especially for you with extra salt.
Sounds inviting.
Come, my friend, have a seat, and I will get your food for you.
Vaughn will sit down.
I am surrounded by drunk people.
We're not drunk.
You are, my love. You are. You're gonna feel a little funky in the morning. How did those jewels go for you, Miss Lauren? I know that you were working on them for a while. You're still working on them when I left the tavern.
That turned out well.
How'd the meeting go with the crazy lady?
That is something we will discuss when everybody's sober.
We are sober.
No, you're not.
I'm feeling fine. Hey, let's sing another round. Can we bring another bottle?
Giancarlo will come by. Of course, you can have another bottle. Here you go. Very nice Merlot. Yes, you like? Yes? Here you go.
Merlot is my favorite, I think. Is that what we've been drinking? Because I like this one.
Of course it is. And he will draw the wine out.
Can Covet see the label of this wine bottle?
There is no label.
What kind of wine is this?
Merlot, weren't you listening?
What kind of wine is this again?
Oh, the house wine. We make it here in the house. The wines are from south of the town.
Oh, and what special ingredients do you add to this wine? I'm a cook myself.
Special ingredients? You do not add ingredients to wine. It is wine. The fruit of the grape, the blood of the ground. This is how we drink. You must try. Try.
I'm gonna abstain for right now. I appreciate it. I need to make sure that these amazing people get home safely. You know?
Violet hands Covet a cup of wine.
And she just kisses him and is like, "That's all the wine I need."
Oh, come on, Covet.
Aw.
It's really, really special, and it's
It brings
so
out-
good.
It brings out the flavor of the pasta.
It really does.
I'm just gonna say I'm going to abstain to make sure that we all get back to the consortium in one piece.
Even Ayla's impasta.
I'm gonna tie. If y'all don't behave, I'm gonna end up tying a rope around each of your waists so we can go back to the consortium and sleep it off. You know, like kindergartners.
Sounds like a chain gang.
Could be.
Ayla, it's in the sauce. We use the wine in the sauce. Come on.
You are drunk.
Hey.
Your name is Ayla. You called me Ayla. That's you.
Ayla's friend, then.
Half the ingredients of cooking is applying to the chef.
So let me. Oh my god, Ayla, you did great. I love the food. It's fantastic. But yeah, I'm just gonna abstain for now. Yeah.
Why? Are you pregnant?
No,
What?
no.
It's
Or
the
she
only
knows.
reason I know. It's the only reason I know that women abstain from drinking wine.
You've been.
Is there something we need to talk about?
Oh,
Oh my God, let's get another bottle of wine and celebrate. Covet's pregnant.
it's Lauren. Help me.
Congratulations! Giancarlo comes by, big, boisterous Italian guy. They're calling over a violin player.
Oh my God, this is such great news for you guys.
I'm
you
going
guys
to
have eggs?
smother her. Where's the chronacron when you need it?
It's too good to pass up.
I hate you so much. Oh my god.
So when did you find out? I'm sure you're not. Denial. We all gain a little weight when this happens. It's fine. Are you saying it's the pasta?
This is the pasta.
So we're not having a young edition?
No.
Not
But we
yet,
will later.
but soon, in like 9 months, we will have a new seat at the table. We have high chairs. And he brings over a big high chair that's empty.
She's crying for joy over here.
Oh, such felicidades. People start coming over.
She just
And like,
the line and starts chugging.
oh, you can't have that? You can't have that when you're
She
pregnant.
grabs Twilight glass and chugs it all.
But that was mine.
Not anymore.
Okay. So as you guys enjoy your dinner, Islarin Shonazeth walks up. Islarin, there seemed to be a very cheerful celebration of Covet being pregnant going on right now.
As Lauren hears,
Did I miss something?
Are you guys hoping for a boy or a girl?
A boy, of course. I must have an heir.
More than one of you in this room. God help us all.
You contributed.
All right, here, have a drink. And Kiki's gonna pour a drink for Islarin to celebrate the happy event.
Appreciated. And she will, seeing the party's current state, she will limit herself to just gradually sipping on it.
It's good wine. It's legitimately good
Twilight's
wine.
going about the room, fist bumping everybody.
Someone hands you a cigar.
I was gonna say, so there's got to be a cigar somewhere.
Helen just goes and finds a corner somewhere and sits down and just cries because she is just over this.
Someone's going to elbow Twilight. You're going to see a lot of this in the next 9 months.
What that person may or may not see is Covet raise her hand and flick the whole room off. Which, in reality, would track.
Yep. Which also convinces them even further.
Of course.
Yep,
Like,
the up and
understand.
down of emotions, of course. I won't have to prepare myself for this.
It's fine.
I'm going to pick up a bowl of pasta and I'm going to just take it over and slide it up on the table where she is. You have to eat well during this time. And I turn and walk off.
This time you got to really eat better.
Oh, goodness. This is what you get for taking the first 90 minutes. Everyone saved up their RPs for doing this.
So
I mean,
you
we've
have to
been
sit on
trying
the
to
floor for
entertain
9
ourselves.
months? That's terrible. No wonder you're upset.
I mean, we've been trying really hard, so I'm glad it's paying off.
Oh my god!
Don't succeed. Try again.
At this point,
Tay
at
Eagle
this po-
Splitter comes by and hands you a cigar as he walks past.
Absolutely, thank you.
at this point, Covet is just over it, and she grabs she just pulls the bowl of pasta over and just starts. She takes a bite and then she's like, "Does that eat chocolate? If I'm gonna live this life right now, I might as well live it to the fullest."
Giancarlo hears this and brightens up, runs into the kitchen, his large form shoveling through the door. And he comes back out. He's got a plate. And on the plate, there is a quarter pie of tiramisu. And he puts it on the table in front of you with a fork.
She deliberately looks at Ayla and Twilight and pushes the plate of pasta and starts digging into the tiramisu.
Twilight, let her be because she's going to have cravings during this time.
Twilight goes up to Ayla. Look at the glow she has just radiating from her face.
She looks up, there's chocolate and whipped cream on her chin.
She looks so happy. I'm glad for this.
It's like she got a new addition or an enhancement today. It's beautiful.
I'm going to take 90 seconds. You guys keep going.
She calls Urgle out of the pack. And as he hops up on her shoulder, she says, "Go nip at Twilight's ears. He deserves it. The tips, they're very sensitive. You really need to do this. And then go after Ayla. Just perch on the top of her head. You don't have to do anything. Just perch on the top of her head."
Well, hello, Urgle. How are you?
At that point, once Covet is done with her tiramisu, she walks over to Islarin and hands her the salt shaker that was on the table.
Karin will nod. That's not common.
You never know when you're gonna need more. I just like to supply it when I can. I don't know if is it the same kind of salt you use? Do you use sea salt, Himalayan salt? Do you use like Dead Sea salt? I mean, what kind of salt do you prefer?
Dead sea salt? What? Why would they call salt such a thing?
Because it comes from the Dead Sea, apparently. I don't know. I'm not the one who named it. But I mean, there's Himalayan salt, there's sea salt. There's that. What kind of salt do you like? Do you like the light salt? Where it's kind of like.
This is table salt.
You are not in this conversation. She turns back to Lauren.
Twilight leans over to Ayla. I see what you mean.
At which point, your ear gets nipped by Urgle.
Thank you, Urgle.
You died.
How
you leave me to do it? I love biting his ears. Usually that's your job, though.
He hops from Twilight's head over to my head and just sits.
You're the best ever, Urgle.
I know I am. Do my damn best.
Urgle, I'm going to need you to protect Covet to the best of your ability. She's really important to us, and especially to me, and especially with what she's carrying.
Oh, I know she's pregnant. Everyone knows this. After what you guys do in those tents, it can't be anything else.
Well, it's the tens, it's the back
I might be
alley, it's
undead.
upstairs room,
I may be undead, but I'm not deaf.
it's the rocking of the boat.
I hate you all.
Well, I love you.
Do me a favor. Next time you guys get busy, put the backpack down.
You do it with a backpack on?
Leverage.
Wow.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
So, how did the conversation with Leslie go?
fabulous. I ate a fairy.
That's
Another
why he
one.
went straight to dessert.
That's it, yeah.
I don't even know where to go with this now.
We broke the covenant.
Why did you do that?
Information. It's kind of like the same thing as like how I get information from the pin. You know, why I kind of eat things when they die, and I killed them.
What kind of fairy was he?
She gets really sober really quick. And GM, I'm not certain whether I'm pronouncing this correctly.
Mhm.
Ardeni? Ardeni? Is that okay? She looks at Twilight and says, "It was an Ardeni."
Twilight, a chill runs down your spine. The festivities are now over.
Twilight visibly shudders and is instantly sober. That's what invaded the grove.
They're dangerous.
Yeah, they're dangerous. They took a... He breathes. What was this one found?
Tay Eagle Splitter gave it to us for information.
The dude that just handed me the celebratory cigar for you being excuse me, for
She steps on his foot really hard.
ow.
But I got some information. And she looks at the group as a whole. And then she looks around the room to see who's actually there. What does she see in the room other than her party?
There's a couple of random restaurant goers, just people having a good time. They haven't picked up on the fact that the party has suddenly ended. And they are enjoying their food. They're not paying attention to you at all.
She looks for shadows.
You look for shadows? As it is
I look for
late
shadows.
evening, you see lots of shadows everywhere. The sun is setting, and the shadows are long.
Oh, this is not good. Are all the candles lit in the tavern or not?
Yes. And those, in turn, are causing more shadows.
She shivers just a little bit.
Are you cold? Do you need my cloak?
No, we need to get someplace light. Completely light. Ish. I don't know anymore, but definitely without shadows. And she gets to be a little anxious every time she looks at a shadow. She looks in each shadow to make sure that there's nothing there.
You know, light by its very nature casts shadows.
So be on guard, especially with what I'm going to tell you all.
Do we need to go back to the consortium and into the room for this conversation?
Definitely not here, but we need to go quickly. I don't like the shadows. I really, really don't like the shadows.
Do we need to see if any of them follow us?
That's the thing. The shadowless don't have shadows.
The what?
We need to get to the consortium now, and in a place where it's safe and light and private.
I guess Twilight will pay the tab for everybody and then follow Covet. What's the current bill for tonight's festivities?
Giancarlo is comping it because of the celebration.
Thank you, Don Carlo. You are quite the host and the John.
Giancarlo smiles. Of course, it's always good to celebrate for a first-time father.
And thank you, Giancarlo. I can't even say it.
Giancarlo.
Yeah, I know. I just can't say it. For teaching me so many things today. Thank you so much.
He nods and gives you a big hug, full of flour. The back of your armor is now powdered.
And Bart's.
I love it.
Yep. You have an entire apron mark across your front. We've all been in that auntie's house or grandma's house when she gives you a hug with her apron, just like this frame. Yeah. All right, so you guys running over to the consortium before it gets truly dark?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Would appear so.
As you guys go running in, Brad is nowhere to be seen. The front of the area here is empty at the moment.
Should we go up the stairs and see if we can talk to
We normally have free access.
Oh, we got to make sure that we just don't walk into somebody's room.
We'll be fine.
I walk up the stairs and see if I can find
What's his name?
Perfect.
Perfex is currently seated at his little desk and looks up at you. Hey, how's it going, guys? You guys doing all right? You guys look like shit.
First off, I thought you were going to get a bigger table. Did that not happen?
It hasn't happened yet. I've got a requisition in for one, but you understand that these matterifications take a little bit of processifying.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Do you have an area that we can have that's, have a meeting that's private?
Oh, of course, yeah. Of course. Well, there's the dojo down there, last door on the right. Or you can also take any one of the bedrooms. Here's a key. There you go.
Thank you. And I look at the number on the key and
The number is 2. It's the second door on the left.
awesome. Thanks, Kerfax. We appreciate it. And
of course, anytime I can be of assistification, you just let me know.
I appreciate it. And I go to unlock the second door.
By the way,
room
if you need
number
more beds, let me know. We've got more rooms. Not a lot of them, but we do have more rooms. Unless you all are gonna just kind of sleep on the floor and stuff.
I'll let you know. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Thank you, you too. And she returns to the group and says, I got a key. Shall we go have this meeting?
Do we want to do this in the room or do we want to do this at the mansion?
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea at all.
Right.
Okay. So while we're doing this, I have to pause time for a moment as our friendly Aarakocra has been analyzing the situation and everything he's heard so far. And Kiki, it's a little disturbing that Covet has tapped into these darker aspects of magic. It's not very serene, and it's not very natural. Maybe she's doing it for the greater good, but you definitely want to keep an eye on her, because it's going to be real easy for her to slip into the darker side of her personality, from which there may not be any recovery. It's important that you try to help her with your guidance towards enlightenment.
Gotcha.
So you will feel this based off of your teachings. This is not an imposed feeling, but based off of your teachings, a guarded curiosity as to the details of what's coming, because it could impact how she sees the world. And if that gets too dark, you may need to make a correction, as it was stated in the monastery. What form that correction takes is custom to the individual situation. After all, you were taught to be like water. Water can both flow and crash. It can harm and heal. When the water enters a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Be like water. Adjust to the situation, and be ready for whatever Covet needs in order to maintain her sanity and her purity of spirit.
He said of spirit.
Shut up, Twilight. I don't know what you said, but I know what you said.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Press X to doubt. All right. So, you guys enter the magnificent mansion from within the bedroom. As you enter the magnificent mansion, it is peaceful and quiet in here. What would you guys like to do? As you have 8 hours in this extra dimensional space, do with what you will.
As I scroll up in Discord to see the floor plan of the mansion given to us by our lovely Islaren.
That's not in Dungeon Alchemist, is it?
Not yet.
I think should we she Covet looks at everybody and she says, as I tell you guys what's going on, I think I just kind of need to go to a place where I feel comfortable the most. Can we meet up in the library, please?
Oh, yes, the library, of course. That's where.
Problem.
She looks at Urgle and says, bite his ears.
As the undead raven begins trying to get at your ears, Twilight. Don't forget, this is usually your job!
I know, but you are doing such an awesome job right now. Thank you.
It's not so sad.
As the beak pierces down, clamping upon the top corner of your ear, you feel the little bird tongue lick.
So I'll
easy.
meet you guys in the library.
All right. Yes.
You go to the library. All right, spill it.
Once everybody's here, I will spill it.
Everybody is here.
So not only are you talking about additions to the family, but you're also
Well, you
talking.
shut up. I'm not pregnant. Okay, so I got a lot of information. Yes, I did eat a fairy, but it was because to get information, and it was given to us for the greater good.
I'm so conflicted about it the first time that you ate a fairy. Now,
I'm still very
is that
conflicted.
conflict?
You don't seem as conflicted. You seem almost as if it was understood.
It was an Aradini.
I understand what that is and where they come from and what they mean and what they're capable of.
They mean to kill us all.
But what does that have to do with you consuming it?
I was angry. I wasn't listening. I wasn't paying attention. But in doing so, I got something good out of it. More protection is necessary. But that being said, I did ask some questions from it. And I got some answers. So my first question was, what was the purpose of gathering information on the consortium? Because this fairy was sent as a spy to gather information on all of us.
Spy or advanced party?
As I know of, spy, possible advanced party. More's coming. But let me finish. The point is to kill all of us. The consortium is basically a threat to those in the shadows and those that control the shadows and the shadows that come from Shantara Grove. And the person that's in charge of that, who's in charge of those shadows, we've already met. That person is Thalia Neverwhirl. Do you remember that person?
We let her go.
No, she left. No, she left as a pincushion, but she left.
But she's also in charge. She's the one controlling Shantara Grove.
Good thing we didn't make a deal with her. You almost made that deal with her.
It's not. Shut up. But there's an interesting thing I have found out. We have found that Nebula Angelson we found out that she's the one that, when I spoke with Tay and I told you about this, that Nebula Angelson is the one that's opening the portals and controlling them by herself, right?
Right.
Well, she's working with Thalia Neverwhirl, and she's her stepsister.
What?
Thalia is in charge of the shadows. Well, Nebula is ruler of light, is the leader of light. And they work together. They want world realm plane domination, from what it sounds like. And frankly, right now, it's our job to kind of stop them. But there's steps that we need to do to get help to go along the way.
I can go back to my grove.
And ultimately to get to the grove and reclaim it. But the question is this. I want to do this right, and it's a slippery slope for me, and I would like to make sure everybody has what they need in the group. Kiki, you want enlightenment. Ayla, you want to figure out what your God wants you to do in the end. Islaren, you want to prove yourself. Twilight and I ultimately just want to get home. And Eowyn is a little pyro. But wants to have a leadership responsibility somewhere in the Blue Cloaks. That can happen, but we've got to work together, protect each other, and keep each other from going down the dark ways.
Does that include you?
Most definitely. I don't like what I do, but it helps us get knowledge and to protect us more. I don't want to become something dark and twisted. It's a dangerous, slippery slope, and I could easily fall that way.
So the next fairy that presents itself won't be eaten?
I didn't say that. It will be
Difficult not to take the next step down the slippery slope if you insist on walking downhill.
I don't want to I don't want to consume. So I'm going, but I will use what I do to get the information to help us all. And I won't ask any questions unless it is approved by you all.
So in this case, and this is something that you're going to have to ask yourself, is the end result worth the means that you take to get there, or should you choose a different course of action?
Honestly, I don't know right now.
Because there's a potential for you to lose yourself in this process.
And that's not what I want.
So you said there's a way for us to get to a grove, that there were steps that we had to take. What are these steps that we have to take?
There are going to be some that we're going to have to do that may not necessarily be pleasant. And I don't mean in fighting or killing or anything like that. Some of it can be facing our pasts, opening up when we don't necessarily want to about ourselves.
You know I'm here for you.
And not you. All of you. But the first step is something that Islaren you're gonna have to face if you want to help this way, if you want to help at all. And if you don't, I understand, and the choice is yours. But I think you faced yourself and faced so much in Australia, you became a wayfinder. You became so much more than what your people have ever, probably experienced themselves. You swam and helped with the freshwater, in the freshwater lake. We've dealt with fire monsters and things like that. I mean, we've with methods and all celestials and all these things. If you haven't proven yourself now, I don't know when you will. You've done so much. I think you've done a lot. Do you have faith that you have done enough to make them happy? To prove yourself to them?
Was at the heart of things or about proving myself to them. Or if I wanted to do that, I could have simply done what was asked of me.
So was it for yourself then?
It was that, and it was the simple knowledge that I wanted to go where I was needed and do what was needed of me to protect the world from threats that it doesn't understand that it faces. Threats such as the ones we face now.
So, Ella, why bring this up now? What happened with your conversation of Leslie that you're talking about each one of us and our reasons for being at this point, what we're seeking and where we're trying to go?
We have to go and see a queen, because she is the next one that has the next shard. And we have to have that shard. Our goal is not to kill her. Our goal is political. Not saying that, not even truly political. It's because the consortium doesn't have any political power.
You're talking elements of power and influence.
More or less, yes. And having the protectorate behind Islaran fully wouldn't hurt. Because in a way it's diplomatic. And that's where I come in. I have to talk to the queen and convince her to give up the shard willingly.
In exchange for what?
Well, part of it is political standing, obviously. The other part is to clear absent.
How would this clear absent?
He is tainted with some power that doesn't need to be there. That alters balance. And to create balance, we have to give it we have to give that power to her.
Balance of what? You're not making
Power.
sense. Who's power?
Powers that create. I'm trying to figure out how to say this best because there's so much going in my head at the moment. Powers that create people that have political power, people that have power to protect, people that have the power to help us free Shintara Grove for good.
Who are these people that can help us free Shintara Grove?
My patron being one.
She gave
If-
me this.
Just knowledge, as far as I know.
Roll
That's
an
all
insight
that's
check,
all.
please.
Who? All of us?
All of you can roll an insight check on this one. To determine what Leslie would gain from this arrangement.
I know nothing.
Ayla, you tend to have the opinion that everyone is good, and so that makes a lot of sense. All right. So, did Covet roll insight? Or Covet's rolling ponytail? All good.
Oh, you want me to roll what? I'm sorry.
Insight, please.
Yeah.
Cool. So, everyone except for Ayla is able to pick up on the fact that Leslie, in this case, should the Shintara Grove be purified and redeemed, and someone that she's associated with becomes in charge of the area, that would gain a ally in the Fey realms that is powerful. It's a political machination in order to gain power and allies that are in powerful places. It's always good to have friends.
Information and power.
Yeah.
You mentioned backing up the protectorate.
Yes. You have powerful families, powerful connections. You are more powerful than you let on, are you not? As an emissary?
I try not to let on one way or the other. I simply let speak for itself.
Is it time to solidify that power that you actually have? The alliances you actually have? The roles and responsibilities you actually have? The choice
That
is yours.
depends. Because, yes, this is in line with conversation I had with Zutono Shirez earlier, that having the backing of my people would be valuable. But
What
is
that?
how it is used that would matter. I wonder one like Leslie would seek to earn it for her own benefit, opposed to the benefit of my people.
There are friends in high places. Continue.
And perhaps it will align, but perhaps not. It will simply to prepare for any possibility. But it is not something I will rule out for certain.
What are you looking for then?
It is a difficult question to answer. Um, what? That is a difficult question to answer for. I do not know which queen you've even referred to that we are speaking.
And Covet thinks for a second, and she realizes that she has not stated who the queen is. The queen is also known as the Lady of Shadows. She is Nebula herself. Nebula Angelson. No, wait. Hold on, back up.
It's incorrect.
I know that's incorrect. I wrote it down funny.
You don't know the Lady of Shadow's name.
I don't know the. Yeah, okay. That's right. Okay.
She's the ruler of Oshokvok.
Okay. So the person that the queen is the Lady of Shadows. She's the ruler of Ochevok. Did I pronounce that right, Jam? Please tell me I'm right.
Yes.
Okay.
Close enough. Oshokvok.
Ochevok. Okay. And
So what would Lauren know about the relationship between the Protectorate and Otrikvok or Corlin in general?
Roll a history check.
I'm actually going to use my inspiration because I rolled this. Nope.
Oh, unfortunately, not much.
If I can have my inspiration for that.
It's Lauren, this is a valuable roll, okay? So with a 19 history check, the Schnozen Protectorate's relationship with Corlin and Otrikvok proper is exceedingly limited. The Protectorate doesn't have a lot of sway there because they are a more northern ocean area as opposed to the southern ocean. Corlin has very limited shoreline with the northern ocean, and most of that is controlled by the people from Bourbon, the Cervantes family. So while the Protectorate does manage to get some ships down there for trade and some negotiations, the Protectorate views Corlin as a non-factor at the moment because Corlin doesn't have a big enough coastline to support a assault against the Protectorate. The Protectorate would be more concerned if Corlin were able to take over Shu or Reston, but they don't see that happening anytime soon, so are generally lackadaisical towards the actual country of Corlin. Otrikvok, being landlocked, is not a threat at all, and is viewed as barbaric, landlubbery, and generally from the sticks. They're not viewed as cultured, they're viewed as barbarians. It's not an organization that the Protectorate cares about at all, unless you can find some way to make it matter.
I'll try to covet that their little that in the coral, or they are largely separated from us, and as long as they remain contained where they are, then what they do is little to affect us, which means that although they might have less that we want, they also have less that we might fear. That may provide us with something to work with.
Protectorate's influence or interest can't be the only solution that was presented to you, was it?
No. She then looks at Ayla. Ayla, tell us of the home that you're from. What people did you grow up with? Who were those who taught you?
Oh, I love to talk about home. I grew up in the temple, well, between the temple and the palace of our ruler. My mom's the high priestess of our god, has a lot of power. But Dad, now he's the big one. I told you that Dad was very unhappy, and when he came to our island, we were having some problems. Country that was over on the coast, and so Dad joined the army to help out, and because he had experience there, and he became the chief military advisor for the king. So the king had a daughter about my age, and we used to play together a lot because there was a big garden between the temple and the palace, and that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that a lot. Of course, now I'm grown and Mom sent me out on this mission, but the princess is still there, and her dad's getting elderly, kind of like Mom. I guess I'll end up being the high priestess one day, but in the meantime, just I'm still out on my mission, and she's still back with her dad learning about things, about how to rule the country. We're real small, but we have pull with countries on the land side because, well, we kind of control the food and so they're kind of nice to us and give us stuff that we earn. So yeah, it works out pretty well for all of us.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a quick question, and I'm hoping that you may know, and Ms. Lauren, you may know too. Um, First off, Ayla, what's the name of your island?
Gosh, had to ask me that. GM, do you know the name of my island without me having to go look it up?
Yes, it's the Carnal Idol.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I misspelled that. Let me correct that.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
I'm going to copy and paste that. It's the carriel aisle.
Thank you.
What was I gonna say? It's the local dialect. And how close is that to the Lady of Shadows?
Hold up. So let's this is an island, correct? Yes. Yeah. Do your people trade with the Protectorate?
Yeah, they're down here all the time.
Is Lauren? They're under the they trade with with the Protectorate. They would be an interest, correct?
Eventually,
Okay.
quite far
So,
away.
Bill, huh? Hold up. I'm working here. Let the cogs go. So the thing is, how far is your home, Ayla, from the area that is controlled by the Lady of Shadows?
Oh, that's just over the mountains. That's just over the mountains.
That's not actually correct. You have to go across a inlet, and then across the country of Fluidon, and then all the way to the center of Cortland. So it's a long way.
Well, yeah, it's been traversed before.
Oh yes.
So it's been traversed many times. And it's I'd say it's about a 3-week, 4-week journey, depending on situation.
Okay.
So, why is the Lady of Shadows important?
Because number one, I've already told you she's got the shard. We need the shard, period. Second, she may have access to Shantara Grove.
Say what?
Yeah,
And she can take care of absinthe.
exactly.
How would she take care of absinthe?
Power that's in absinthe. She would take the power in absinthe, cleanse them, and possibly we would get access to Shantara Grove.
So you had me at Chantara Grove. What do you need me to do?
She smiles, but patience.
Because the sooner I can relieve myself of this bond to MKL and to claim my birthright, the happier I will be.
Which, okay, I think you need to come clean about that, since we're all being all buddy and open with everybody. They need to know why Shantara Grove is so important to us. If they're gonna risk their necks for us, we might as well tell them the truth.
Oh, I was born there.
She gives him a long, pointed stare.
And it's my inheritance.
Meaning?
At one time, it was supposed to belong to me.
Okay, redundancy. Let's keep going.
But it was taken from us.
Are you supposed to be a king or something?
Yeah, that was my question. I should we be calling you like your lord or something?
No, sire, your majesty, or something?
The legends of Twilight go far and wide, but we're not to that point just yet.
Keyword yet. So, explain.
But what do you mean it was you were the heir? Were you the prince? What's your
Yeah, what's your
Shantara
backstory?
Grove. Shantara Grove belonged to my father.
who was your dad?
Let me pull this up real quick. Give me 1 second.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one laughing over here. It's not my fault anymore.
So my father, the one that was in charge of Shantara Grove, was known as Knight's Call. My mother was Shadow's Whisper. And it was this attack facilitated by agents of Masaba, led by Rafinus, supported by of its latest consumption, and now currently ruled by this Neverwhirl who calls herself a queen. Chantara Grove always was my birthright, but I've been pressed, recruited, bonded, however you want to call it, in the service of MKL until such time as I meet her requirements that then allow me to reclaim what was rightfully mine.
For those requirements.
When she's, I don't know, satisfied, I guess you could call it. There's changes, there's imbalance, there's unnatural longevity, there is things in which that are currently that affect the planes, the realms, that bring imbalance to the natural life and death of each individual. And I am charged with righting that balance. So freeing the spirit, the guardian of motion and chaos that brought death and unrest and various other chaos across Australia and Tavoa as a whole was bringing balance. Those that would naturally perish in such phenomenons that weren't was an imbalance that must be righted. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that truly is my calling.
So,
Noble calling and
so to create balance, Shantara Grove must be, for lack of a better phrase, cleansed of these shadows, of this darkness.
It's more personal as opposed to that of my current charge and or mandate. But yes.
So that needs balance. Political powers need balance. The gods themselves need balance. The spirits need balance.
And the shadow, and Shantara Grove, bleeding in through the shadows into the Maria Plane and in planes beyond, is an imbalance that must be right.
No pressure.
None whatsoever.
It's be up to us.
It is.
So, Elliot has laid out a path. There are things that we must do prior to our engagements with this supposed Lady of Shadows. Are we ready for this? Are we prepared for this? Some of this means facing our past, facing our reasons for leaving, facing how we've changed since then, facing whether or not we are happy with who we are now, vice where we were before, and whether or not we're prepared to accept those consequences.
Prepared or not, consequences will come, regardless of what we do. Therefore, let us meet them proactively on our own terms. Let us bolster each other, guide each other, shield each other. Let us be united in doing what is right.
So for you, Islarn, does that mean that we head back to the Protectorate? For you,
I believe
Ayla,
it does.
does this mean that we go back to the land of fried chicken?
And waffles.
And syrup. Yeah, I'm quite willing to go back and talk to Mom and Dad about this, and then we could talk to the king. What they would be willing to help us out.
And Covet, what do you lose or gain or sacrifice as we move through this?
The knowledge that my friends are safe. The knowledge that my home is whole the way it should be. Fulfilling MKL's demands. And not losing myself in the process. But ultimately, balance. There has to be balance. And there's no balance right now. Kiki, what about you?
I was just gonna speak up actually, because I'm mostly here. I well, I got to tell you, I'm sort of here to keep balance. That's kind of my thing. Is I kind of look for balance in different places, and try to help things stay in balance. And so maybe I can help as you move forward and get more powerful. I want to make sure that you hold on to yourself.
I would appreciate that more than you know. It's scary.
Yeah, just tell me when things are getting scary. Let's talk about it. I mean, that's I can help you with meditation and with the ways of the serene waters.
Maybe I can figure out what MKL needs from me to release me as well.
You don't want to lose yourself. That would be bad.
That is true. So everyone's in agreement then. The protectorate, Ayla's home, those are the places we need to go next.
With that,
Sounds like it.
I think so.
And let's do it. After a good night's rest and some food that's not covered in alcohol. And I'm not pregnant.
Well, as you guys get ready for bed, is there anything else you'd like to do before going to sleep tonight? Twilight?
Yeah.
You will fade to black on that.
No, that's afterwards.
Okay.
No, it's they continuing to work on gaining proficiency with whispers.
Okay. Cool. So let's go ahead and do the die roll here.
Which one?
I believe this is the charisma check.
Okay. Oh, it was on 19.
That's pretty good, though. That's a success. All right. Cool.
I have a brewer's supplies, or I am a good with brewer's supplies, so I'm gonna see if Ayla would like to maybe work together on creating our own wine, like John Carlos.
Oh yeah, he showed me how he does his. I'd be glad to show you what I learned.
Great. I would love to know how to do that. That was a good wine. Did you like it? I liked it.
Oh, I loved it. Taste the grape so clearly. It was nice.
Awesome. Cool. So, do you have any what are you brewing? Are you going to try to get some grape juice, or how are we doing this?
Let's go down to the kitchen and see what they've
Yeah.
got. I mean,
Okay.
we could brew with strawberries or blueberries or just about anything.
All right. So, Kiki, you go down to the kitchen and collect some berries. What types of berries are we using? Grapes?
Let's yeah. I mean, look, there's a garden here. So let's see, is there anything in the garden?
There can be anything you want in the garden.
All right.
Lots of
Well,
good
Ayla,
dark
what
grapes.
should we use? Should we use I probably grapes, but maybe we should use some other fruit as well to
Okay, John Carlos, excuse me, uses the dark grapes, and he also puts a little blackberry in with it.
Oh, nice. Okay. Let's do that.
Okay.
9
Awesome.
to 1 ratio, that type thing.
Awesome. So as you mix everything together and you spend a couple of hours assembling this, let's go ahead and get your brewer's supplies check done. This is medicine plus your proficiency.
Nice. And my proficiency. Okay.
So you will easily succeed in making some wine. And that's what I need you to roll your insight check, sir. anything that is from the mansion disappears when you leave the mansion. So while you've gotten the practice making the wine, you can drink the fresh wine in here. However, the moment you leave the mansion in a few hours, the wine will be gone.
Yeah, that's all right. I knew we could practice, though.
Yes. Awesome. Cool. Then in that case, after you guys have practiced your skills, you guys head off to bed. As you guys bed down for the night, we fade to black on the various activities of the various members. And we will allow you guys a long rest. And as you wake up tomorrow, that's where we will pick up next week, having had a long rest and exiting the magnificent mansion into the bedroom at the Longstriders Consortium.